loved ones. And welcome as well to all the other honor students who are here with us today. I want to congratulate the honor seniors who've completed and are working to complete your requirements to the program. These last few weeks can be stressful for you. And I had an opportunity to participate in 2 defenses this past week. Elle Eckert successfully defended her portfolio on Monday, which was great to see. And then today, Sophia Sharif participated in her successful defense today. And these experiences for me are just a great reminder of all the great work you do to improve yourselves and the communities that you engage with. And I'd be remiss before I say anything else if I didn't address this last year and a half of stress that has kind of unduly caused the stress that's been unduly caused to the international students and many of our domestic underrepresented students by our leaders in the country. These are challenging times, but I hope that coming together like this as a community to support your individual achievements, I hope that this evening proves a respite from all the other kinds of things swirling around us. And I especially want to draw your attention to the back of the room if you get a chance. We have a kind of a history exhibit back here. Isabel, is that the name of the student I had a chance to meet who helped organize the event today, created this with the help of some of our archive staff. It shows us that we're in the 60th anniversary of the honors program here. And then on the left side, the honors staff have arranged newsletters and photo books from recent years as well. Of those 60 years, I've had the honor of participating directly in honors in exactly 10% of those 60 years. And the opportunity to be here speaking with you on an anniversary like this allowed me a little bit of time to reflect, and Ginny and I were talking about this. And so I'm going to talk a little bit here about what anniversaries might mean for us as future leaders, since that's one of your main competencies in the program. I won't do a quiz right now, and you're a little bit far away, so it'd be hard to call on you, but I'm pretty sure, especially those seniors, know our honors leadership competency fairly well, right? The first is that we identify and use our leadership values in teams, and the second is that we'll identify roles in teams and practice those roles in our everyday engagement. And the goal of both of those competencies is that ultimately we'll be able to articulate a general leadership philosophy to guide our future collaboration in groups. And I see the seniors nodding. They know very well the competency. So in the context of the 60th anniversary, I'd like to make a proposal for you. I'd like to make an argument, a thesis, if you will, of considering stewardship as a key leadership value that you might be able to guide your own, as a part of your own leadership philosophy going forward. Stewardship. So the Merriam-Webster Dictionary identifies stewardship as the careful and responsible management entrusted to one's care. Its authors explain that the word emerged at some point in the Middle Ages. Dr. Smith would be able to tell us about this, but it's the person, the steward was a manager basically of an estate. Basically had day-to-day fiscal and personnel management responsibilities. Today, we still use it in that kind of term, that the word steward, but we also use it in a really different way that, and maybe one that I prefer, when we talk about being good stewards of an institution, or even as something as like being good stewards of the public good, right? Or stewards of the environment. You know, in other words, we can't manage the environment on our own, but we all in our own way can participate in improving it, right? And in leaving it better than we found it. So for me, stewardship as a leadership value in the context of the 60th anniversary of a program like this means that we recognize that we exist in time, right? In a campus club, in a program, a department, or in the institutions that you're going to lead down later on in your career, we recognize that those institutions existed before us and that they'll exist after us. And the challenge for leaders, I think, is to ask, how do we see ourselves as leaders, not just at this time, but in time? Briefly, I think it means that we need to lead with a long-term orientation that fosters success, not just for now, but for people in the future, people we may never meet. Steward leaders, I think, base decisions not only on the current situation, but we look to the past to see what grounded those institutions and its organization and its leaders at key moments. And I think steward leaders also prioritize the long-term over short-term gain or short-term self-interest, which sometimes means that we need to make short-term sacrifices for an improved result, and that's a result for people we may never meet ever in our lives. And we need to be okay with that. When we lead groups with this value, and sometimes this is really hard, and so the third kind of concept of stewardship for me is that steward leaders have to be honest with our colleagues and our teams about the challenges that we face and the changes that might lie ahead, even if the leaders themselves don't really have a very clear view of what those challenges and changes might be. And fourth, we need buy-in from our colleagues. So the future, the vision of the future, has to be empowered by individual expertise and small team expertise. But to do so effectively, it's really important that the leaders of the group encourage that kind of buy-in to form that longer-term perspective, to help establish that vision for when it's really hard work ahead. And I think that the history of honors here at Minnesota State demonstrates on those posters, for example, or in those photo books, a series of staff leaders, yes, but also a lot of student leaders who deeply held this stewardship value, even if they didn't really recognize it at the time. The most successful of those student leaders and staff leaders knew that the program was never really about them alone, but it was about them in community, about what the program could be for them, yes, but also about what the program could be for others. And we tonight are all here because of a series of decisions made by people we will never have a chance to meet. And for that, I think we can be grateful. And so as we celebrate honors today, let us hope that we might have the same impact on other people. So congratulations, welcome everybody, and I look forward to the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Dean Corley, for your leadership and support of the Honors Program. I would now like to introduce our senior speaker, Alexa Johnson. Alexa is an art and creative writing major and music industry minor. After graduation, she plans to work for a period of time while she considers pursuing a master's degree in either graphic design or something with an interdisciplinary creative focus. She currently works at a graphic design studio in New Ulm, as well as various design jobs and internships. Ultimately, she hopes to move abroad, inspired by her study abroad to South Korea during college. Let's welcome Alexa to the podium.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexa, and I'm your senior speaker tonight. I would like to start off by thanking all the honor staff who selected me for this opportunity. Really, thank you so much, guys. I am very honored to be up here right now. I would also like to thank the friends and family who came out tonight to support your students in honors. And then I would like to recognize the seniors who have either passed their portfolio defenses or are certainly excited to do so in the next 2 weeks, right? So seniors, here we are. Did you think you would find yourselves here so soon? Not just here at this banquet, but at the end of yet another journey. The last weeks of senior year, getting ready for another graduation so soon after completing high school or another form of primary education, perhaps feeling not all that different from the person you were a couple of years ago. But at the same time, maybe you're starting to look back on the years and realize just how much you've changed and how much you've grown. As a freshman, you likely had some scattered ideas about what the future would look like. You were coming out of your hometown, and it seemed hard to think about suddenly moving to a new place, leaving behind the people and friends you had known forever, and not being able to see your family every day. Maybe you were lucky and knew what you wanted to major coming into college. Or, like me, maybe you weren't. Either way, you likely started out with some dreams and hopes of what you wanted to accomplish in these years. Things like meeting new friends, building healthier habits, getting into clubs, finding new hobbies, studying abroad, starting research projects, and eventually getting to this point we are at right here, where you are close to being let loose into the world with the knowledge you've gained. Did your time in college happen like you pictured it? Some things probably fell into place, but most likely what you've experienced here is completely different from the way you imagined it would play out. I know that my college career certainly turned out differently than I expected. Even the shift into college was strange, with COVID affecting our last couple of years before college, and many of us struggled with having to move out of our younger years while not getting some formative experiences that left us in kind of a weird place between childhood and adulthood. I've ended up being at college for 5 years, so maybe COVID didn't affect your later years of high school as much as it did for mine. Ginny was actually my 201 professor back when she was the associate director of honors, and now she's back as the director. That's how long I've been here. But getting to the end of high school and having that kind of deflating experience of not getting to participate in things I've been told to look forward to my whole life made me realize that I've been stuck for a while. I had been getting through the days, going through the system, the tests, and daily schedules that I was told to follow, and this had left me at a standstill in my life. I tried to think of what life after high school could be like, and I realized that I couldn't imagine what came next, because I hadn't been told what to do next. I had some interests, but hadn't yet stopped and asked myself what I truly wanted and what I was passionate about, and that was scary to me. So I did what is easy to do in those types of situations, put off making decisions, and came in undecided. I'm sure many of you can relate to these feelings of self-doubt and anxiety about the future. As I'm sure you found in college, you try and you plan and you worry, and then things either work out or they don't, and your whole life can suddenly change on a whim. For me, this mainly happened in my junior year of college. I had been following the general plan laid out for college students in my first 2 years. I moved into the dorms my freshman year, started my gen ed classes, got acquainted to college life by joining activities and meeting new friends. Sophomore year was similar, except that I got to move off of campus and into an apartment, which cost me less than living in the dorms, which was great. But then I had something pop up, and suddenly my whole life shifted. I moved home, which is in New Ulm, as a junior, and completed school full-time online. This threw any sort of expectations I had about what college would look like out the window. Suddenly, I was isolated from the friends I had felt like I was just starting to get to know, and cut off from continuing to participate in normal college experiences. It was another strange time that reminded me of the way I felt throughout the pandemic. Even though I was set in my online classes, the path forward wasn't clear anymore. No one was directly telling me what to do or how to go about using this time. However, although difficult, this shift taught me something important. Don't be afraid of the unknown. As a writer, we usually avoid cliches, but life really is a journey, and you never know where it will take you. But don't be afraid of the unknown, because ultimately, everything worked out, and it brought me to exactly where I needed to be. A little backstory here. I'm bringing you back to when I was a 14-year-old, which seems so young now, on a day that my school went to a career fair at a college. Now, you all know how impressionable 14-year-olds are, right? Person was talking about that college's graphic design program, and this was something I was sort of interested at the time and maybe thinking about for the future. At the end of the presentation, she closed it off by saying, "Do not go into graphic design. It is a very competitive career field. You will not find opportunities, so don't pursue it." And can you guess what I said? I said, "Okay, definitely not doing that then." And I didn't for a good number of years until my junior year of college when I moved home, since an opportunity presented itself to start working at a graphic design studio in New Ulm, which is where I still currently work. Looking back, this unexpected transition during college was the exact thing I needed to help me find my calling. If I hadn't started this job, I never would have found out about my graphic design skills or had the courage to pursue it. This time also allowed me to continue improving my writing skills, as I had declared a creative writing major in the previous year by taking a class that reignited my passion for writing and got into writing poetry of all things, which I never would have seen myself doing. Additionally, I think, in a way, that the honors program itself is another good curveball we have all taken on that has changed our lives in ways we haven't expected. For a lot of us, me included, we mainly joined because graduating with honors looks good on a resume. And in 201, I think we were honestly a bit overwhelmed when hearing about all of the requirements to graduate from this specific program. I was thinking that honors at MSU would be similar to other programs I'd heard about, where maybe you didn't even have to do anything and it was just based on good grades. I remember the day the competencies were introduced to us, and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I don't think I'm a good leader. I don't really like taking on leadership positions. I don't know how to do involved research. How am I gonna put myself out there and fulfill 8 whole experiences? This is no normal program, and the requirements seemed like a lot. However, the honors program is the exact thing that many of us needed to help us find our callings, especially since the ways we can fulfill the competencies are so vast that it just allows you to explore different interests, regardless of your major. The requirements feel like a lot at first, but over time, the competencies naturally blend into and enhance your areas of interest. And I know that all of us graduating seniors have done way more than 8 experiences by now. After learning about my leadership strengths and how they can be used, that gave me the confidence to be a TA for the 201 class, as well as to take on more leadership positions at my job. I pushed myself to apply for internships and jobs I didn't think that I would get, but they have prepared me to be a professional in the workforce. I wanted to study abroad, something I didn't think I would be able to do, but heard about an opportunity through an honors program post, actually, and had the experience of a lifetime just last summer. The honors program not only gave us skills we needed to get out of our comfort zones, find ourselves as leaders in whatever style that looks like, to build our critical thinking and our understanding of our disciplines, to be global citizens, challenging our biases, making us more open to learning about and interacting with others who are different from us. It also gave us a community and a support system while we did it. During my remote year, the program helped keep me connected to college. And when I got back to campus, having this community cheering me on pushed me to think bigger than I ever had for myself. As we will soon leave our campus community and enter a new period of our lives, many of you may be feeling uncertain. This is, again, another time where there are no set rules. No one is laying out the clear path or guiding you through the exact steps. And this has the potential to make us feel lost in what we are supposed to do with ourselves now, how we are supposed to continue developing throughout our professional careers and throughout our lives. During this time, I would like to remind you of how much you have grown already. We all came in having at least some sense of what we wanted to do and thought we knew everything as freshmen. We quickly just found out how little we knew, and we were anxious about what would happen next. Now, we have flourished into ourselves, becoming confident, open-minded, collaborative, and empathetic people capable of accomplishing more than we thought was possible while we were here. And there's one last thing I would like to leave you with tonight related to uncertainty. And that is to not be surprised or scared as your dreams, passions, and you yourself inevitably shift throughout your life. Even the lucky people who came into college knowing their major have experienced some sort of change or new experience that has made college different than they thought it would be. When facing the unknown, like we all have, remember how much it has changed in your life already, and how even if you and how even if it didn't work out like you thought it did, it led you to be the exact person you are today. One that is confident and more prepared for the future ahead. When it was happening, we didn't know how necessary what we experienced would be to shape us into the people we are today. So, don't be afraid to continue changing and growing. And while you're at it, don't forget about the lifelong community you will always have here, supporting you, and take some pictures with Ferdy once in a while to send back. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Alexa. It was so much fun to teach you in 201. I also am teaching Alexa in 475 right now, and I was already excited for her portfolio defense next week, but now I'm like 5 times more excited. So no pressure, but it'll be great. Thank you. Okay, so the main focus of our banquet is to honor our graduating seniors and their accomplishments. As you came in, we had a slideshow rolling with some senior spotlights. So I hope you had an opportunity to look at some of them, and I hope you had an opportunity to read them and kind of sit with them and you enjoyed them. We have an extraordinary group of students being recognized today. And although some are not able to be here tonight, if you are in attendance when I call your name, please come to the front to get your certificate. After we're finished with everything here tonight, we will do a group photo in the hallway. We'll remind you probably at least 3 more times, so don't worry about it. Okay, here we go. If you're a senior, kind of like get ready, prepare yourself. Rashida Alabi, Delina Bihan, Haley Kata, Bethel Geber-Gorgeous, Beamnet Jibra Mariam, Thinsay Jibra Mariam. I'm like, I saw some of you. Come on, guys. I know I saw your faces. Roosevelt Green, Abigail Hiley, James Hacco, Khalid Kasey, Saran Lema, Alexis Smith, Eleni Tillahan, Peyton Wirenga, Donawit Waldekaiden, and Marin Waldesenbet. Those were our fall graduates. I didn't say that. So if you're like, where are they? Here they come. These are our spring graduates. We should have more. Uzma Ahmed. I was like, I know I saw you. Abel Asefa. Hawi Atanafu, Arujan Batiganova, Bezawit Birara, Peyton Buck, Andrew Colleran, Sona Danny, Katie Danhoff, Euphemia Demi, Kirabel Dula, Ellen Eckert, Faven Gade, Victoria Green, Johanna Gurung, Barak Hamza, Jessica Heinch, Vernice Horton, Gracie Johnson, Alexa Johnson, Ava Cones, Sai Kirtana Laku, Kira Laney, Quinn Lamer, Eleanor Mildy, Nathaniel Minuta, Brock Nielsen, Caden O'Connick, Anna Peterson, Emma Seeley, Delasha Shakya, Sophia Sharif, Jenna Schultz Tao, Ayushka Shrimal, Joel Yves Tichok, Jason Tao, Akina Ham Wabella, Doug Maui Wasson, Emily Wozniak, and Bethel Zagay.
Congratulations to all of our seniors. As you saw, we've mentioned both our fall and spring graduates, so some of them are not able to be here because they're already off on exciting things, but congratulations to all of them. So next, I should introduce myself, sorry. Maybe not all of you know me. So I'm Ashley Singleton, Associate Director with the Honors Program, and I have the privilege of presenting the Dr. Ron Nickerson Service Award this evening. The Ron Nickerson Service Award was created in 2014 to recognize an individual who's demonstrated profound service to the honors program here at Minnesota State Mankato. The award is named after Dr. Ron Nickerson, a long-term faculty member who during his time here at Minnesota State Mankato played an instrumental role in advocating for the honors program, particularly played an instrumental role in relaunching a revised version of the program in 2009, and served on the Honors Council until his retirement in 2014. We give this annual award to an individual who's made a lasting impact on the program and on its students. This year's recipient is Dr. Leah White. Leah served as the Honors Program Director from 2018 to 2025. I see you over there, Leah, so please come on up. During her years as director, she's made a significant impact on the program. She mentored many students through their honors experiences, gave feedback on countless reflections, coordinated many honors defenses, leaving a lasting impact on students. Her mentorship has also extended to student workers, graduate assistants, and full-time staff. Leah guided the program through external review and curriculum changes, introducing the Honors 375 course, so students, you can thank Leah for that. Ever a champion for student success and equity, she deepened Honors program collaboration with colleagues in diversity, equity, inclusion, and moved the program to open enrollment last year. Under Leah's leadership, the program grew from approximately 150 students to 300 members today. I could say more, but I want to note two final things. Leah named our honors mascot Ferdy, and she coined the tagline, "The rigor is in the reflection." Thank you, Leah, for all you have done for the honors program at MSU. So next, I'll invite Clara back up for some other recognition.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Next, we will be recognizing several groups of individuals who have supported the program this year. The first category this is the nominated faculty and staff. The first category here recognizes excellence in teaching and mentoring. Our graduating honors students were asked to nominate a faculty or staff member who has made a significant impact on their experiences while at Minnesota State Mankato. We hope you have enjoyed reading the statements our students made regarding their nominated faculty. Please join me in applauding our nominated faculty and staff. For the second one, we would like to do recognition of the Honors Council. So we would like to recognize members of our Honors Council, and this council assists the Honors Program with recruitment, admissions, retention, strategic planning, and curriculum decision making. This year, the council participated in the usual tasks of advising the honor staff, reviewing the Tischer scholarship applications, and serving on portfolio defense committees. Council also helped prepare our external review process and evaluate our honors advising process. Please join me in applauding our Honors Council members. Now I'd like to welcome up Tim Smet, our Honors Associate Director and University of Fellowship Coordinator, to present the Tischer Scholarship Award.
Thank you, Clara. The Tischer Honors Program Scholarship was first given in 2017. Chad Tischer and his family developed the scholarship to honor his grandmother Evelyn and his father James, both of whom were Minnesota State Mankato alumni. The scholarship is awarded to a first-year student who shows financial need, outstanding leadership traits, and a drive to succeed despite facing adversity. This year's recipient of the Tischer Scholarship is Shemi Agbula. We get you to stand up and be recognized, please. She is a psychology major with a pre-med track from Nigeria and Brooklyn Park. The honors program and all our Tischer Scholarship recipients are very grateful to the Tischer family for their generous monetary donation and the giving of their time to mentor young people. Thank you.
All right, a few more groups of people to recognize. As many of you know, the strength of the honors program rests in the many groups of people who directly and indirectly support the activities of our program. The Honors Student Body Executive Board is one of such groups. This year, members of HSB have assisted the Honors Program by serving the Honors Council, providing student perspective on program decisions, assisting with recruitment efforts, and planning monthly social events. So please join me in recognizing the following members of the HSB Executive Board. Please stand for those of you who are here when I call your name. So President Clara Liebeck, Vice President Megan Hahn, Secretary PQ Vu, fourth year class prep Euphemia Demi, third year class rep Liz Utterman, second year class rep Rena Giza, and learning community coordinator And, oh no, we're missing the first year representative on here, Rebecca Moreno. All right, applause for our HSB members. Glad I didn't miss anyone. All right. And also, at this time, I'd like to recognize our HSB board for next year, for 26-27. And so those folks are President Nisha Shreta, Vice President Bilastina Buddha, Secretary Abem Marshresha, fourth year rep Claire Lether, third year class representative Jatea Ford, and second year class representative and learning community coordinator Rebecca Moreno. So thank you. Also, we'd like to recognize our first-year students in the program. So, first-year students who are in attendance, you should have received a honors pin when you arrived tonight. We are very proud of you for your commitment to the program and starting your first year, and we can't wait to see what you'll do next in the coming years in your experiences and competency and seeing your portfolio at the end. So first-year students, please stand up if this is your first year in the honors program. Stand up to be recognized. All right, and next, I'd like to welcome up Brian Zins, Director of Alumni Relations.
I'd like to share with all of you that my 9-year-old MSU class of 2040, if I did the math right, did help me with my remarks this afternoon in my office, and she approved. So we'll see if you do as well. My name is Brian Zins, and I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Alumni Relations here at Minnesota State, a role that I've held since 2021. And Chris's comments gave me just a little bit of a change here in my thoughts. I do refer to myself as a caretaker of this job. This is not my job to own. It is mine to take care of. And I love the way he put it with stewardship. This job is bigger than I am. It's a humbling job. It's a heavy job at times, but nights like tonight really remind me why I do it, why I have a passion for it. So moving forward, I am a steward of this role that I have. But it's a job that not everybody understands real well. My kids can rattle off the title. They struggle sometimes to explain what it is. So I describe it this way. It's my job to keep over 140,000 living alumni around the world engaged with this great university in ways that are meaningful to them and that are beneficial to our current students, our faculty, and fellow alumni. It's a responsibility I don't take lightly, to be in ways the voice of 140,000, and after the 9th of May, 144,000 living alumni around the world. And with 140,000 plus living alumni to engage with, one could ask, and many have, why I spend as much time as I do talking to students. It's a fair question, and I'll explain that with a short story. In my first year on the job, I had an alum reconnect with MSU after about 35 years. He'd not been back on campus since the day of his graduation, so we took a tour. I showed him all the neat things. The dining center is unbelievably different than it was even when I started. Presca and Julius Sears, the student union and all of its enhancements and growth. I remember thinking at the time, this is awesome, to reconnect somebody after this amount of time away. And it was. In many ways it was, right? But a little while later, my thoughts on that changed just a little bit. And I actually kind of did a 180. And I said, what a bummer. What a bummer that 35 years passed with no interaction with this place. And don't get me wrong, this is a person who loved this place. This was not a conscious decision not to engage with this place for 35 years. There's no wrong time to make a right decision, right? But to me, I look at that now and I say, what a bummer. So to explain why I spend as much time as I do talking to students like you in the room, the only thing better to me than reconnect with somebody after a long time is never losing connection with them in the first place. I want every student to know long before graduation that the Alumni Association is here to support you for the rest of your lives, and that starts today. We're here to celebrate your accomplishments, your careers, to help you when you need it, to welcome you back on campus or around the country for events, and to keep you in contact with your favorite faculty members like many here in the room today. Many of you are on the verge of a tremendous accomplishment and possibly the first person in your family to do so. Every student at this place works hard, okay? You don't just come in, go through the motions, and waltz out of here with a bachelor's, a master's degree, or a doctorate degree. That just does not happen. So in that way, you're a lot like all of the other classmates that you took classes with. However, all of you in the honors program have chosen to do more with your participation in this great program. And that's going to serve you well for the rest of your life. And Alexa, you're right, it does look good on a resume. But it's far more than that. That is going to serve you well in ways that you don't even know yet. Not everyone on commencement day, when you stand up and to be recognized, is going to understand all of the extra work that it took to earn that distinction. And that's okay. Because you understand it about yourselves, you understand it about each other, and every honors alumni out there understands it with you. And that's enough. I want to congratulate you on all your successes. You deserve every bit of the praise you're receiving tonight. And to echo something that Chris said as well, something I've talked about quite a bit through this year, this has been a challenging time, more so for some of you than others. And if at any point you have felt unwelcome here or felt that you didn't belong, I apologize, and I want to let you know you do. You make this place better every day by being here. I have 3 kids who spend a lot of time on this campus. And for them to see all of the wonderful things happening on this campus, I do not understand why everybody does not feel the same way. So thank you for being here. Thank you for what you have endured and to persevere and to stay with us. We are better for having you here. I know you're all anxious to be done with tests and clinicals and student teaching, dreaded group projects, and portfolio defenses. Some of you are going to start your careers across the country or even around the world. That said, I want you to do me a favor if you could. Don't let too much time pass before you come back and visit us, okay? MSU will always be home, always a part of who you are, and we and I will always be happy to see you. My heartfelt congratulations to each and every one of you. I hope you are proud of yourselves because we are very, very proud of you. Go Mavs.
Well, now there's like 4 different scripts up here, so hold on. Okay. Our next speaker is one of our alums of the program. Kirsten Sibenga graduated from MSU in 2020 with a degree in community health education and went on to earn her Master of Public Health at the Gillings School of Global Public Health at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Since then, she has worked across the country on statewide health initiatives. She currently lives in North Carolina with her fiance Alex and her dog Franklin. Please join me in welcoming Kirsten to the stage.
Hello. Hello, honors students and graduates. My name is Kirsten Sibenga, and I'm an alumni of the Minnesota State Mankato's Honors Program, class of 2020. I wanted to first thank the Honors Program for having me today. The opportunities that I had as part of the Honors Program truly shaped my college experience in such a positive way. I'm so honored to get to celebrate this special day with you all. To the honor graduates in the room, first, congratulations. Today, I wanted to share my story and a few nuggets of advice I've garnered since I graduated. My journey into public health was a little bit of an accident. Like some of you, when I came to Mankato, I was bright-eyed and excited to learn, but I wasn't quite sure what. Some majors I tested out sure sounded impressive, but deep down, I knew it wasn't the right fit for what I cared about. My mom, the ever-wise retired public school teacher, encouraged me to go talk to different departments to learn about the majors, the classes, and future employment. Do your research, she said. I tested out different majors, talking to different department leads to hear about coursework and future employment opportunities. I had my notebook and trudged across campus. So I did, and eventually I found public health, or community health as it's called here. Moms tend to know what they're talking about. I was inspired to learn about preventing health at the population level. I started seeing my world through a different lens. I started thinking about things with a public health mindset. And I became curious. What's going on in my community? What do I care about? I came back to something that felt fundamental. Food, or rather food access. I did some more research and found a volunteer opportunity in Mankato the summer before my junior year for an initiative called the Blue Earth County Farm. The farm is a local food assistance strategy that grows produce and donates all of its produce to food assistance programs in the county. I came to find out how important this was because fresh produce is some of the most difficult for food shelves to get donated. I sent off an email to the farm manager to see if I could help. It turns out farms can always use help, and I quickly received a reply with an address, or rather a pin, for a field in Mankato. I drove my Honda down the highway and then turned down an unassuming gravel road. As I followed the path, I saw the lush green acre come into view. The farm manager gave me a quick tour, and then we got to work. I quickly learned how to plant little sprouts, use the tiller, climb down the bank to hook up the water pump so we had water, and of course how to weed. While it was hard work, I loved getting to watch the seeds germinate, raise their green arms out of the dirt, and eventually turn into a vegetable that would nourish someone in my community. It felt poetic. I felt something in my soul settling every time I'd drop another crate of vegetables off at the food shelf. Throughout the summer, we worked with hosting volunteer groups on the farm, updating the local county commissioners of our progress. As it got to be late in the summer, the farm manager shared that she was moving out of state and needed someone to take over the farm. Me, I thought? Don't you know that I'm like 20? Luckily, I didn't say that part out loud. I reluctantly agreed, but was thinking, how am I going to do this? Leadership doesn't and shouldn't always look the same. Sometimes it's a 20-year-old YouTubing how to run a farm and trying her best to figure it out. As it turns out, we are all Googling how to be an adult anyways. The next summer, I led groups on the farm communicating the tasks that we needed completed while getting to know the people that graciously volunteered their time. I got to know the kids that got dragged along. I got to hear about the upcoming dance recitals and vacations. That summer, leading the farm was really transformative for me. It gave me the confidence to dream big. Surely if I can figure out how to run a farm, I can figure out, became my motto. That became a useful sentiment when following graduation in 2020, I moved to North Carolina to continue my studies in public health. I had it all planned out, how I thought this next step in my education was going to go. As you may have already gathered, this didn't quite go to plan. Due to the global pandemic, I was learning from my very cozy apartment bedroom about a mile from campus. I felt frustrated that this next step wasn't according to plan. I reached out to classmates for socially distanced walks and found I wasn't alone. Slowly but surely, I began to build community in my new home. While we were online for a good portion of the first year, I was energized expanding my knowledge around public health. I also had the opportunity to learn more about the community I was in. While similar, there were regional differences between the Midwest and the South that I noticed. I became practiced at flawlessly including y'all into all my sentences, appreciating the art of a good breakfast biscuit, and I was in awe of the mountains and ocean that North Carolina had to offer. I also quickly realized that many people thought I had an accent, and a good party trick was saying bag and bagel. While in school, I worked with a few different organizations part-time, where I got to learn about some of North Carolina's health challenges firsthand. such as access to dental health services and youth vaping and e-cigarette use. Even though the world still felt uncertain when I graduated, with COVID cases still rising, I was excited to see what I could do next. Fast forward to the present day, I've had the opportunity to work with the California Department of Healthcare Services on statewide public health initiatives surrounding substance use. This is a new topic area for me, so I found myself thinking back to how I learned how to run a farm and how I adapted to living in a new region. Google was often the first place I started. Just like on the farm, I worked with people from all walks of life, many with experiences very different from my own. I started to learn the regional differences in California. Those in the rural northern pockets communicated differently than those in metro areas. I found that my practical Midwest way of thinking was actually really valuable. One of my responsibilities on the opioid settlement team in California was answering emails from counties about the opioid settlement funds. After a while, I noticed I was communicating almost weekly with law enforcement. I soon learned that law enforcement are often among the first to respond to an overdose. We were spending a lot of time answering the same questions, so I thought, what if we created a simple fact sheet specifically for law enforcement that clearly outlined what types of purchases were allowed and what wasn't? It was a small idea, but it made it easier for people on the ground to get the information they needed and focus on responding to overdoses in their community. Experiences like that have shaped how I think about my career and the opportunities that come along the way. None of these moments were things I had carefully planned out years in advance. They came from being curious, saying yes to opportunities, and figuring things out as I went. To the soon-to-be graduates in the room, I know you're probably getting a lot of advice on the cusp of this new chapter, so I'll try to keep my advice brief. First, be open to changing your plan. While college is neatly laid out with required courses and next steps, life is a new adventure. Be open and flexible, that things may not go to plan, and that's okay. Second, be nice. The world can be a hard place. Be the first to say hello or smile to a stranger. And finally, no one has it all figured out. Just ask the adults in your life. We are simply doing our best and Googling things that other adults seem to know how to do. I say this in all seriousness so that when an opportunity comes your way, something unexpected, maybe even something like running a farm, you take the leap. Because sometimes the things we say yes to, even when we feel completely unprepared, end up growing into something bigger than we ever imagined. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thanks, Kirsten. It's always tough to follow the senior speaker and the alumni speaker because there's not really much left to say. I mean, this is what we do, and this is the privilege that we all have to do this work and to work with these amazing students. With that being said, I do have a few short remarks. I will keep it brief because this is the end of the program, and particularly for some of the students in the room, everyone is very tired of listening to me by the end of April. So I will do my best to keep it short. I was sitting in my office trying to figure out what I wanted to say because I feel incredibly privileged to have this job and to be, to use Chris's word again, a steward of this role that incredible people have had before me, two of whom are in the room, one of whom we just gave an award to. So it's big shoes to fill, and I feel incredibly privileged to be able to do it. And I feel incredibly privileged to have rejoined this community this year as the director of the program. So I'm sitting in my office and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, and it's, lunchtime, because this is when we have pauses to think about what we're going to say. And I can hear students laughing right outside my office. I'm pretty sure everybody in the room is somewhat familiar with the Honors Lounge. So it's a kind of like a community space. Well, it is a community space. It's a community space, and then our offices are kind of around this community space. And I hear these students laughing in the Honors Lounge. And I realized that my favorite moments from this year have been the times when I have not worked during lunch and taken my lunch and sat in the lounge and hung out with our students. It is far and above the best way to spend 20 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever you can spare. Sometimes we talk about artificial intelligence. Sometimes we talk about what book we're reading. Sometimes we talk about what we're doing over the weekend. And sometimes we talk about how to manage our stress while we work on a puzzle at our puzzle table. You all have a QR code in the middle of your table for the Honors Beacon. And the theme of this year's Beacon is community. There are posters in the back that highlight the community of this program, and there are previous beacons and photo books that we put together at the end of every year that highlight the community in this program. And I like eating lunch with students. I'm not sure that they always like eating lunch with me, but I like eating lunch with students because I get to see that community. It is the most tangible, like living representation that we get of community is when we are literally sitting in community with others. And for me, this year, that has been lunch in the lounge. It is so much fun to hang out with these students because we get to see how their brains work. They ask amazing questions, they are incredibly curious, and they are wildly innovative. Seniors, we are here tonight to celebrate your achievements, but we are also here to celebrate the fact that, as Brian said, you did more than get your degree. You don't have to do the honors program to get your degree, but you were curious and you asked questions and you wanted to learn how to do a little bit more. And no matter what anybody else says, that's really cool, and it's going to serve you very well long after you leave us. So I hope that you never stop. I hope that you always challenge yourself. As Kirsten said, I hope you always say yes to opportunities that you feel like you're unprepared for. And I hope that you continue to be thoughtful, curious, and courageous, because the world really needs that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing us to be a part of your college experience. And I hope that you stay connected with us in the coming years. Finally, this day would not be possible without a whole host of people. I'm going to say some names, and if you're in the room, I would really like you to stand up. Ashley Singleton, Associate Director of Honors. Tim Smith, Associate Director of Honors. Laura Lee Baldwin, Administrative Assistant. Roshit Narala, Graduate Assistant. He's here, but he's running somewhere. He's doing something. Dia Shreta, Graduate Assistant. PQ Vu, our Learning Community Coordinator. Again, you gotta stand up again. Abira Islam, our Media Relations Coordinator. Isabel Schumacher, our Student Event Coordinator. If you had a good time tonight, you can tell anybody, but you should really tell Isabel, because she did about 85% of what you've seen tonight. Ian Brown, our Honors Beacon editor. Dulce Salazar, office assistant. And Andrew Saudabash, office assistant. Thank you all for helping to make the program what it is. A couple of reminders. Please take time to look at those honors beacons and photo books in the back room. They're very cool. And then also take a look at those posters. They're also very cool. We will, I don't know, figure out a way to display those somewhere in the office. So please take time to look at those before you leave if you didn't have time before we started the program. Seniors, we would love to get a group photo out in the lobby. If you go out these doors and head to your left in front of where it says Minnesota State University Mankato, we would love to get a group photo with you and maybe your certificate if you are here and have it. I think that's it. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciated it, and congratulations, seniors.